Have you heard about Tim Ballard? Things are going crazy with some of the stuff he said. What are your thoughts on Tim Ballard? Everyone, this is Jeff Borders, author of the Antichrist playbook. So, yeah, what do you know about Tim Ballard? Have you heard? There's just some crazy things we just got to jump into right away.
Yeah, I'd love to hear. I admit I don't keep a good track of Tim Ballard since he kind of went rogue, but I know his background with OUR and everything. So I'm interested to see what you got there.
Yeah. Let's show you this little clip. This is from Kara Burrell was posting this, and I was like, we got to just bring this up. She calls it Breaking Tim Ballard Rants Against the Mormon Church, which, by the way, little background for everyone. Tim Ballard, was the Operation Underground Railroad guy. Then the church came out with a statement about him, and there's all these accusations against him from various women, and this is what he's saying now. I hadn't heard about him or much of anything until recently, so let's take a look.
Yeah, he kind of fell off the radar, so...
Yeah.
Trafficking going on the southern border. I spent 10 years as an undercover operator for Homeland Security on that border. So we were going to bust it open, child ritual abuse, which most of it's happening in Utah, where I live right now. He said $10 million has just been invested, has been sent to destroy you. I said, what's it going to look like? They said a bag of bricks, and that's all they would say. 3 weeks later, it begins from the Mormon church. Okay?
All right. Yeah, raw reaction.
What?
Let's go.
I was just thinking, what?
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out where he's even coming from there.
Well,
it sounds a little salty.
Can we just say a sign of apostasy, which is a topic we're going to get into, is hiding from the name of Jesus Christ and calling it the Mormon Church? I don't know if am I the only one who that just kind of like annoys me when people the Mormon Church, like it just seems, borderline offensive to me.
Yeah, that kind of gave the giveaway of how he's currently feeling towards the church or anybody affiliated with the church. So
yeah, he's hopped on this trafficking bandwagon. So it's pretty interesting. But we have a lot to get to today. As I said, Jeff Borders, the Antichrist playbook author, is here. But on today's show, through Elephant's Eyes, ChatGPT plays devil's advocate. Interesting. Check that out. Trunk treasures. Say goodbye to Kolob. I tried to make it to the tune of If You Could Hide a Kolob. Apologies for the singing there, but here we go. Trunk treasures. Say goodbye to Kolob. And Big Ear Bulletin. Judgment Day. And violence threatened in the Holy War. But let's get into it. Let's get to our first segment. This is Through Elephant's Eyes. Okay, we have this robot-looking devil man here. Jeff, do you want to explain what it is that sows seeds of apostasy that you uncovered using AI? Tell me what you learned. Let's hear it.
Yeah, that's right. Using the brilliance of AI, I wanted to ask and see how close it would come to what I discovered in the Book of Mormon with the Antichrist tactics. So I asked it a simple question of, if you were an Antichrist, how would you get people to leave Christ? And these were the options that it gave me, the subtle options that it gave me.
The subtle secrets to apostasy. So watch out, everyone, for these 6 things. There's 6 of them, right?
Yeah, I think there's 6, yeah. So the first one was distract with truth and present alternative philosophies or ideologies that seem logical or scientific. Promote materialism or atheism as a rational choice against religion. So the second one was emphasize self-interest over selflessness.
Okay.
So, which seems to be pretty rampant in society. But I mean, there are silver linings to where we see some selflessness. I feel like we saw it with members reaching out and supporting the members in Michigan, but also the shooter's family. I thought that was a good example of selflessness over self-interest.
100%.
When it would be super easy to be self-interested there.
Yeah.
One that stuck out to me was undermining religious authority.
That one's huge today. Huge.
It's huge. And the question it posed, why follow fallible people when you can trust your own judgment?
Oh, so can you trust your own judgment? Yeah, let's hear what you think.
I don't know that you can. I was thinking, like, we have this weird thing, like when we're done with school, when we graduate, we do not have to worry about listening to anybody else, getting anybody else's wisdom. We're done listening to people. We're done being taught. And that is so counter to the philosophy of Christ that sets prophets to allow us to continue to learn and grow. But it's like we want to plug our ears and go, no one else needs to teach me right now.
Neener.
I know everything. And then they look, oh, well, look at so-and-so prophet or my bishop or whatever, and they're just fallible people, and why should I listen to them? When Christ has a good track record of working with fallible people to accomplish his works. So
it's the whole point of life, everyone,
Yeah, exactly.
Only Jesus was perfect. That's fine. That means we can be comfortable with being humble. I think. I hope.
I think we can be comfortable with that. All right. So the next one was normalize gray areas in morality, downplay sin, reframe moral actions as subjective choices. And this made me immediately think of Korihor in Alma 30, where he said, "Whatsoever a man did was no crime." So, it's that eat, drink, and be merry type of philosophy. Like, it doesn't really matter.
So what about this idea that's like, hey, as long as it doesn't hurt someone else?
I've heard that so many times. And the libertarian in me, the little bit of libertarian in me says, I can understand that. But I bet your actions do affect more people than you realize if you actually get around to looking at it.
In the very least, it has an impact on you, and you are also a child of God, right? And the pure love of Christ, charity, I think has to include loving everyone, which would mean including yourself, which I know some people might take that a little too far. And speaking of selfishness versus being selfish, but sometimes it's a message people need to hear. It's like, well, you got to have charity for yourself too. You can't just hurt yourself.
You can't beat yourself up and be abusive to yourself.
All right.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Next one is create doubt in the character of God. So why does God allow suffering? God can't be good if he allows suffering.
That's a tough question for the traditional Christians, and one that's tough for us too, but I feel like it's less tough for us, but I might be wrong.
Yeah, I feel like with our theology that affliction could be for the purpose of mortality. Like, it is the refining part. God uses it because he can't necessarily interject in our agency, but it's going to facilitate that perfection being perfected in Christ and the glory that will come after. The argument might be made, well, what about harmless animals or whatever? And we can make the case that, well, how do we know that they're not also being perfected?
Yeah, true.
I think we're the only ones that have an answer kind of for that against traditional Christianity.
Yeah,
I could be wrong. Yeah.
Also, this idea that, you get rid of creation ex nihilo and that God himself follows laws. There's a necessary path, that he can't just snap his fingers and make us exalted.
Yeah.
We have to become exalted by learning the higher law. Real quick, Kiori says, doing something that, quote, hurts only yourself, close quote, does hurt other people because you're not in the correct position to be able to help others because you're injured. So it's kind of
Amen.
a selfish thing that Kiori's saying that you're being selfish if you're doing something that's hurting yourself because you're limiting your capacity to help others. So I really like that, Kiori. Nice.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Another one is offer easy answers. So offering a quicker, easier path. And then immediately it made me think of Nehor, who brought that all mankind may be saved in the end. Didn't matter what you do, everyone's going to be saved. Kind of that cheap grace, cheap salvation.
Well, how do you square that with the idea that we are all going to be saved in the sense that celestial terrestrial, celestial, terrestrial, telestial. Go in order there. We're all going to inherit some kingdom that is heaven. And so on one side, we say that, everyone's kind of like saved by Jesus's grace in that sense. And then the exaltation part is like, what did you become? Or like what kingdom you inherit is like what you became. And I know we kind of like mix around what saved means, but what do you think about that?
No, I agree with that. I think that it probably is parsing out what saved and exalted means versus inheriting those degrees of glory versus actually being exalted. And I think what Nehor was promising was an exalted life. I think that's probably why he was so effective at it. If he would say, no, you're going to be mid. Like,
yeah, that's true. Yeah. Like, he probably wouldn't have gotten followers. He's like,
I don't know if they would have been throwing money at him, but I think that he probably was promising something, eternal life, exaltation. That's just a guess based on the way I read it. So
no, I think you're right. Yeah. And I guess also to consider is outer darkness, which is a potential option for very few people, but that's still, maybe something he was saying you can avoid just by whatever. But interesting. Yeah. What's the next one?
I think did I already say appeal to emotions over reason?
No.
So ask followers to think about their Christianity often asks followers to think about their actions and live in terms of eternal consequences. I'd shift the focus to immediate gratification or happiness. So whatever makes me happy is the top of my priority structure.
You know who has the best answer to that when people are like, oh, just do what makes you happy, do what makes you happy? Well, the one that I resonated with, I know there's a lot of good answers. People distinguish joy and happiness. But the answer that I like came from Jordan Peterson, who I understand is kind of suffering from some sicknesses right now. So hopefully, he's doing okay. But Jordan Peterson, don't do what makes you happy because happiness is fleeting. No matter what you do, there'll be times when you're sad, even if you just try to pursue something that makes you happy. You'll never achieve it. Instead, do what makes you good, morally good. And you achieve something above. So don't do what makes you happy. Do what makes you good. That's better. And it is in line with Jesus Christ, who said, he who loses himself for my sake will find himself. But he who tries to sit there and find himself and search for happiness, his whole life is just going to be miserable. It's kind of like this giant irony, but it's true. Very true. Thank you, Jesus.
Yeah. And the end of that says, if I could convince people that life is all there is, they might feel less motivated to live Christian principles. So that's true. The nihilism of, when the man was dead, that was the end thereof. That was the Korahor's argument, right? So you might as well just live it up and be temporarily happy. So
do you think Pascal's wager comes into play when it comes to thinking about that one, or what do you think?
Maybe. I don't. I'd have to think more about that.
Well, just the idea that if there's a small possibility that God exists, the eternal reward is so great that the expected value for believing in God in your life is totally worth it, as in case he does exist. So it's kind of I'm just going to place my bet in God existing.
And how many people actually take that wager, though? That's the question.
I think of quite a few people take it when they're considering, the alternative of just assuming, it is a bad thing to believe that there's nothing beyond this life. I don't think there's any good that comes out of that. I think there's evidence to support what I'm saying here.
It feels hopeless. It feels hopeless if you're thinking about that's it. There's nothing else.
Well, some people will say it's actually quite freeing because it makes life more meaningful because you know that this is the only chance you get, so you just got to live it up. Ricky Gervais, I remember, said something about it.
Okay.
And it's it goes back to what we were talking about earlier. You sit there and try and search for happiness your entire life, and the irony is you will never really find it. And there's just a dooming, dare I say, a damning type of thought because you're not allowing yourself to be what God wants you to be.
You're constantly searching for that one thing that's gonna make you happy or fill that space.
Yes, exactly.
Yep.
So is that the last one?
That was the last one, and it just said it reminded me that all these things would be done with subtlety and persuasion, never direct coercion. Dang. It's not about confrontation, but sowing seeds of doubt over time, making faith appear unnecessary, irrelevant, or even harmful.
Harmful, irrelevant.
So,
ooh,
ChatGPT, man, coming in strong with how it's going to move people away, and ridiculously accurate.
You know, it'd be nuts. What if I typed into ChatGPT, hey, what do you look like? Make an image of what you look like, and this is what came up. That's not how I got this image, but that would be a crazy story. Like, oh my gosh. It's like this man devil that's a robot underneath. It's just like,
if you were the Antichrist, what would you look like?
Yeah. Something like this, creepy horns. They think
Terminator, apparently.
Yeah, no, that's what I was going for when I was talking to the AI to get it to make this image, essentially. So this guy has horns. Have you heard, you used to be in the evangelical world. Did you ever hear the phrase that Mormons have horns?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So what does Mormons have horns mean? Where do they even get that from? I have an idea, but I actually don't know for sure.
I once heard that Mormons were the spawn of a she-devil and Adam. That was one that I heard, and that's where we get our horns from.
The she-devil and Adam. So Mormonism has been there since the beginning?
Apparently, I don't know how this works, but I did, I have heard, all the weird things that when I joined the church. So, and I was trying to figure out where they hide the horns. I don't know.
I just unscrew them when I'm in public. Mine detach.
That makes more sense. I was like, my father-in-law who was bald, like there's nowhere to hide those things. So,
Yeah, President Oaks, like how is he hiding it with his bald head?
Yeah.
All right, let's get into our next segment. This is going to be the hidden gems, the trunk treasures. Okay, and before we get straight into that, I have to shout out the purpose of the channel and the members of the channel. The purpose is to elevate members of the church by building bridges of understanding through fun and informative content, and to help honest actors to take the church seriously by exposing limitations of critics and correcting misconceptions. With that, let us thank the members. We have one Pachyderm member, Jacob Wardle. Jacob Wardle 6432. Thank you for making this possible. And we got the Mammoth members. Jared Jensen 893. Kiori, you're in the chat. Thank you for being here. Go check out Kiori's book, Nephi's Tabernacle. Brooke _Sabin. Thorgus 951. And Through the Mist 1830.
Oh, you got Sam, huh?
Yes, Sam from Through the Mist. He's got a YouTube channel over there, so check out Through the Mist 1830 on YouTube. I don't know if he's in other places, but he's on YouTube.
He's on Salty Saints sometimes. You might see him on there.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay. Yeah, nice.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. So yeah, go check out Sam. Go check out the Salty Saints as well. So shout out to those guys. And let's get into say goodbye to Kolob.
No.
So I made this video. I don't know if you saw this, Jeff.
Yeah, I watched it.
Okay, so here's the thing. Everyone, some people have been wondering about this in the comment section. And I don't know where people have been. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm following this story a little bit closer. But yes, the hymn book is going to be replaced by a hymn book that contains 375 hymns that are, the same hymns for different languages, and contains both the regular hymns and children's hymns, all in one hymn book. We're going to move out this old hymn book. Sure, you can still purchase it at the store or whatever, but the point is in church, you're going to be singing from a new hymn book starting in, I'm seeing 2027 is what they're announcing. And they are 100% going to retire hymns, because they said the reason they're doing the revision is to make it homogeneous across language. They're going to retire hymns that might be too hard to play, They might be doctrinally incorrect. They're going to vet them for doctrine. They might be hymns that are a little out of touch. They might be a little more, have some like sensitive language in them. So there's going to be hymns that are not going to be in the new hymn book. I mean, it makes sense. There's only like 340 something in here. We have a whole list of new ones that are coming out. And then you have to add in children's music too. 375, there's going to be hymns that you love in this hymn book that are on the chopping block. So I just wanted to clarify that. That's why I'm saying the end of the hymns are happening now, because like this might be the next time you sing a song in church. It might be the last time, because we're rolling in the new hymns every day. My church, this last sacrament meeting in my ward, we only sang new hymns the entire sacrament meeting. It's ending, people. So
does it sound muted when you do it? Like, because no one knows the new hymns yet, so it's kind of a little mumble singing going on. Yeah.
Oh yeah, some of them it's like there's a few that are more fun to sing than others. I'll say that. But I like a lot. Now here's the thing. Some people are like, "Oh, you hate the new hymns." No, I love the new hymns. Most of the new hymns. There's a few that I'm kind of like, man, but most of the new hymns I love. I really like it. I do feel a little weird singing like kids songs in sacrament, but I can get over that. I can get over that, right? Unless they're gonna, switch. But I like the sacrament hymns. Some of the new sacrament hymns are great. I like this idea that we're getting a hymn from President Nelson. That's pretty cool, especially now that he passed. We can always remember him with that hymn, which is really cool. The point is to always remember Jesus. And a lot of the hymns are very Christ-centered. I love that. But, I have hymns that I really like. And so I was like, okay, scenario. President Oaks calls you and he's like, you get 5 hymns to save. You have 5 hymns that are going to make it to the new hymn book, guaranteed. The other ones, they might not make it. Which 5 are you going to save? Jeff, let's hear your answer.
All right. So this is going to sound funny, but I got to save the pirate hymn. Who's on the Lord's side? Who? Like, that's, yeah.
Is that the pirate hymn? I don't know if I've heard that be referred to as pirate hymn.
Who's on the Lord's side? Who?
I like it.
Yeah.
That's a Christian hymn, right? That's not a...
No, it totally is. Yeah. I just, every time I hear it now, and my whole family, we can't sing it without, with the pirate accent. So
I love it.
No, I think I like that. Come Ye Saints is one of my favorites.
Classic. That one has to be in there because it's literally on the logo when like the church logo comes up.
That's what right?
Yeah.
Yep. So I agree with you. I think you said the Spirit of God was one of them that you would.
Oh, the theme song of Mormonism.
Like you have to keep that.
You got to.
I actually love If You Could Hide a Kolob. I'd be sad to see it go, but I could see how easily that one might be cut because it's misunderstood. But I love that hymn. And then I think Ye Elders of Israel is another one of my
great one.
My favorite, especially in a men's chorus. It's just got a great sound.
I've heard
to it,
all the songs that are like men or women only are basically cooked.
Yeah,
unless they somehow
that doesn't surprise me. Now I've got a special in on one of the new hymns. One of the new hymns is called "Welcome Home," and that was written about a guy. Yeah, exactly. That was written about a guy in my ward named Demetrius, and he used to be a Southern Baptist, and he would stand outside and say, "Welcome home, welcome home, welcome home to the Church of Jesus Christ." And he would welcome people, and so we sang that song several times. One of the new hymns. So if you get a chance, that they sang it at General Conference last general conference.
Oh, they did.
Yep. And so he got to go down there for it and meet the choir and everything, and so that's pretty cool. But
did you list 5, or where are you at?
Okay, so pirate hymn, Spirit of God, Come Ye Saints, If You Could Hide a Kolob, and Ye Elders of Israel.
Okay, that's a good list. I like it. In fact, so this is interesting. There's 2 hymns in the Spanish hymn book that don't exist in English.
Okay.
And I wonder if those are going to come over into English. I did hear the choir, I believe, sang one of them during General Conference this last time. And I was like, oh my gosh, is that one coming in? Maybe it's already in, and I just didn't know that was the same hymn. And I didn't know it was to the same tune. But yeah, pretty cool. So speaking of if you could hide to Kolob, number one comment on that video. Harmon illustration. Sorry, I botched that. He said, if you could hide to Kolob for 1 through 4 and then popcorn popping on the apricot tree.
Yes.
Which, by the way, if you're sharing your top 5, I'm basically harding anyone who's sharing their top 5 because that's what I wanted to see. And if you could hide to Kolob is one of the number 1. And I like it. You know, I almost picked that one. I hope it stays. I love if you could hide to Kolob. So what do you think would be, if you could hide to Kolob, if that doesn't stay? I'm worried it's not going to stay, but I know everyone loves it. So what is the controversial part? Is just that it's about Kolob, that it says there's no end to fill in the blank for like ever, and some people might take that. I think people just
get uncomfortable with the word Kolob, and they don't know how to explain it. And
it's in Abraham. We can't escape Kolob.
But here's the thing. Even if it's not in our hymn book, it'll be like Come Thou Fount, and we'll still sing it like in special musical numbers. It won't go very far.
Well, Come Thou Fount used to be in the hymn book before they yeah, and then it kind of disappeared. And I feel like, you know, it's something that the choir would sing, but like, it's not like I don't think we ever sang or heard.
I mean, I don't see him busting out if you could hide a Kolob in general conference. That would be cool. I don't see it
They've
happening.
had to sing it at, I swear they've done it at a conference before. It's probably been a long time, but yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, maybe not since I've been a member, but maybe
let's embrace the uniquen's. That's one thing that I really like.
That's what I see. Yeah.
Yeah. Kiori was asking. So, what song were you talking about?
Come Thou Fount.
Come Thou Fount was left out because of copyright, and now copyright's better. So,
that makes sense.
No, I want If You Could Hide a Kolob. A lot of people do. I think it's a great hymn, but speaking of controversial hymns, your number 1 to keep is my number 1 to get rid of. So, by the way, I didn't really give them in any particular order, but like the first one that I shared was Praise to the Man. I said,
no
praise
way, man. Let's lean into that.
You like it? Okay. I
love it.
Yeah, it's like people are like, oh, it's too weird. We're like worshiping Joseph Smith. No, we're not. And also, Joseph was cool, you know.
there is a BYU vocal point version of that, and the harmonies are amazing. Like it is just the coolest song.
Would you be open to keeping the song but doing it to the original, like, sad tune? Have you heard the original tune?
Yeah. I don't know that I would. I like the major key.
I like the upbeat, like Scottish. Scotland,
but it was cool to hear it, and it makes sense. It makes it more meaningful when it's in that minor key. So
someone was like, "Oh, this is total worship of Joseph Smith." It says, "Great is his glory and endless his priesthood. Ever and ever the keys will he hold." And I'm like, wait, hold on. The his, we got to be careful with the pronouns here because I think that's talking about Jehovah.
Yeah. Was it his capitalized? I haven't looked at it.
I'm not sure, but like if they wanted to like clarify, they could change the lyrics again because it's been changed a little bit. Great is his glory, or great is God's glory, and endless is God's priesthood. Ever and ever the keys he will hold. Grateful and true, he shall enter his kingdom. See, it's just talking about Joseph will enter Jehovah's kingdom. So like he can definitely refer to Jehovah. At least I always thought it was talking about God. I don't read it as like Joseph's priesthood.
Well, and that's the assumption that men can't have any glory. God is trying to give us glory. So
yeah. And then the old lyrics used to say, long shall his blood, which was shed by assassins, stain Illinois. We should bring that back. I think it's in reference to like Genesis when Abel was slain and his blood will stain. What does it say? It says something that alludes to like staining the.
Yeah.
I think that's what it's in reference to, but it's a little vengeful, so they changed it to whatever it says now. Long shall his blood, which was shed by assassins. Plead unto heaven while the earth plots his fame. That's what it says now, which is it's alluding at the same thing, but it's just like it used to say Stain, Illinois, which that's kind of epic. Stain, Illinois, W.W. Phelps wrote Praise to the Man. All the W.W. Phelps songs are just William W. Phelps. Great music.
Epic.
epic. So I want to keep that one. I feel like it's kind of a long shot because I know that like 30% of the membership is like, oh, it's worshiping Joseph Smith. And I will push back because I think it's a great hymn. I don't think it's worship Joseph Smith. And if we have to, let's compromise, change a few lyrics here and there to make it very clear that we're actually worshiping Jehovah and thanking him for a man, or for like inspiring a man to restore his church. That's what I think.
Yeah.
Okay. Next comment here. Someone said, this is a Dorothy. Hold on. Let me go back. John Cox 3541. Just got to shout you out for this comment. Dorothy Reed 8591. Is that like a DW from Arthur?
Yeah.
Dorothy Winifred Reed or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever her name is.
Wow.
God changes his mind every time a new prophet is installed. Not sure what that has to do with the hymns, but like maybe they're saying like, oh, suddenly we're not going to get a new hymn book. But let's just talk about this because we do have a new prophet. We're going to get to that here in a second. But real quick, your thoughts on this, and then I have something I need to share.
I don't know. I mean, I'd have to know specific of what she's talking about, that God changes his mind, or God works through the prophet and he receives revelation. The church moved forward. The gospel is continuing to move forward. So yeah. Well, let me just say this, because here's my hot take. Everyone listen up. Okay, I got a hot take here that goes against the grain. I know everyone was sharing this and was loving it and like doing the chef's kiss about how awesome this was. Get it? Take that, media. What was going around was this thing when President Nelson passed away. When he first became prophet, people started resharing this headline that said, the church probably won't change much under President Nelson. And then you have people saying, oh, did this age wrong? Oh, was this so wrong? The church changed so much. And here's my hot take. No, it didn't. The church didn't change like at all, because here's the thing, people. The people who are outside the church, they don't care if our church is 1 or 2 or like 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. They don't care if we call it home teaching or ministering. They don't care, these little details that are big to us. We've been building temples for a long time. Yes, we keep accelerating that. That's fine and good. But from the outsiders, they want like our doctrine to change. They want like major, They want like new inclusion for temple ceremonies. They want it to be, in some ways, maybe woke, And so, no, that headline was not wrong at all. Nothing changed under President Nelson as far as like the doctrine of the church, and it's not going to. So going back to this comment, God changes his mind every time a new prophet is installed. Look, there's like little things that can be changed about how we, approach administrative functions,
administrative stuff. But I saw a lot of people sharing that like, oh, did this age wrong? And my thought is, no, it didn't. And the church didn't change very much, and that's fine. It's not like, it's not going to change doctrinally, because that's, the church is here to stay, and we might change a little bit about, practice principle, name it ministering, combined elders quorum with the high priest, things like that. But, that's not changes that anyone outside of the church bats an eye at. Like, nobody even knew that. Nobody knew we went to 3-hour church. Anyway, your thoughts on that, Emma?
No,
do you agree with me, or are you thinking that headline was like it aged poorly?
No, I 100% agree with you, because any organization as it grows is going to probably change administratively. The processes are going to change. They're going to become more efficient. They're going to try something else. But the doctrine itself hasn't changed. And if you listen just to the conference talks, you would know that what they're preaching about, the following the Savior, families, following the commandments, those things haven't changed. They're still preaching about the same things in conference. So doctrine didn't change. Maybe administrative functions changed. Stuff that if I ask anybody else, they probably wouldn't know about, like you said.
Exactly. Yeah. So Dorothy Reed, like, God changes his mind every time a new prophet is installed. I'd be curious to see what exactly you're talking about. Cool picture though. What is that? Is that like a
I thought it was a unicorn at first, but I don't know what it is.
It's like, is it that one creature that's like the first known creature to come out of the ocean with legs or something in like the evolutionary chain? What's it called? Tillamook? No, that's a cheese. Dang it! What is it?
Tillamook's a cheese.
It's I don't know. It starts with a T.
You got me. I don't know.
It looks like a Digimon though, and that's pretty
there
cool.
we go. Now we're going way back.
That's pretty cool. All right. Sweet. Kiori says, I don't see anyone starting an offshoot because we went to 2-hour church. Yeah, that's evidence of like the fact that it wasn't some major change.
Amen.
If it were a major change, we would have the TLDS, the 3-hour church or something.
3-hour.
The fundamental, like we're going back to fundamental. Yeah. No, there's people who even, before it was 3 hours. Do you know what it was like before that? It used to be like primary on a weekday.
You'd come back multiple times a week to do it. Yeah.
That's the one. Tikalik.
Ah.
Thank you, Dayanara. Thank you. It's my wife. I knew she knew what it was. Tikalik.
I'm gonna have to look that one up. I don't. Yeah.
It's just an example used in biology classes, and she's a biologist. So there you go.
It's been a long time since I've been in a biology class. So you got me.
Yeah. Okay, let's hit the last section here. This is the Big Ear Bulletin, and there's some crazy stuff that we have to talk about. So let's hit the Big Ears Bulletin.
Run.
All right. So we got President Oaks, President Eyring, and President Christofferson. Your reaction, Jeff? Are you happy? Sad?
No, I'm always happy, but I actually didn't expect President Christofferson. That was not who I thought would end up in there.
Who did you put your bets on?
I thought it was going to be Uchtdorf again or Bednar, but it really doesn't matter to me, but that's what I thought it was going to be. I thought Uchtdorf was going to be back in there. So
I thought it was going to be President Eyring and President Bednar, but it's not. But I was stoked. I like Elder Christofferson. He's awesome. Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, he's got,
and he's another lawyer type.
Yeah, now you got those two lawyers in there, and they can do all kinds of crazy things.
Yeah. It's exciting. What did you get to watch any of the little press conference that was done?
No, I meant to watch it, and then I got called away to work in the emergency room and missed the whole thing. But I came back and saw that the announcement had been made, and I wasn't necessarily shocked that they hadn't called a new apostle yet. I figured they would probably do that separately, but and I have my money riding on Elder Dubé. That's who I was hoping.
Okay.
Elder Dubé.
A lot of people like Elder Brown because he gave a really good testimony talk.
That was amazing. So every time I think of Elder Dubé, he gave that talk where he was talking about Jeffrey R. Holland grabbing him by the face, and he's like, he held my face like a little baby. I can't do it justice, but like
he's the one who talked about one time like his mother was getting after him when they were working in like the field one day. That's one of the talks I remember that he gave. He's got that awesome accent. Yeah. And he's a fiery speaker too. Good speaker.
Yeah, I love it.
Okay, listen to this. Go ahead. Kiori says,
go ahead.
Oaks, Eyring, Christofferson. If you reverse their initials, you get CEO. Coincidence?
Whoa.
Do you think it's a coincidence?
There's no coincidences here.
Sorry about that. Okay, wait. Let me go back here. So we got CEO.
Yeah,
that's pretty funny.
I will say that, like, I think I realized at General Conference as I watched President Oaks, President Eyring, and President Holland, like, it made me more aware of their age as I watched them move back and forth or not move.
Yeah. President Eyring's pretty stiff these days, unfortunately.
It just reminded me of their age. And then, as my wife and I were like, okay, now let's go look up the rest of the apostles. Let's see what their ages are. They're
old.
I like Elder Uchtdorf and Elder Holland are the same age, but you wouldn't know that just by looking at them.
Yeah. So Elder Holland went through that's the thing is like they're at that age where they could die on a dime. I hate to say this, but I went to a general conference with Elder L. Tom Perry, who gave a great talk and looked healthy as he always did. Brothers and sisters, with his kind of like side mouth and his little like Utah accent. And then he passed away 2 weeks later. Just like,
you don't know.
Yeah. And apparently he just had like, what did he, I think he had undetected cancer or something, just.
Yeah, something like that.
And then like at that age, it's just so quick. So, and Elder Holland, we're lucky we still have him. I thought, in
his words, preserved, right?
Yeah,
his life was preserved.
Totally. His health took a deep dive because he was doing pretty good before that. And then suddenly, but he's still here.
Yeah.
He spoke to me over a decade ago and told us that he has one foot in the grave and he's going to be gone soon. Yeah, well, he's still going. Good for you.
Joke's on you. Joke's on you.
Yeah. And then
I think this is great.
So there's a clip I saw going around the ex-Mormon community, and it's a clip of a side view of President Holland, now President Holland of the president of the Quorum of the 12 Apostles. And the ex-Mormons are saying that he is visibly upset, almost like he's mad about the first presidency. And you see, I don't know exactly who's sitting next to him because they're out of frame. So whoever, it might be like Elder Uchtdorf, I would guess, or someone who's like probably in line. Kind of like puts his hand on him a little bit, and he kind of looks like he's a little bit, I don't know, I feel like people are reading into it a little bit, but it kind of looks like he's a little bit like maybe bothered, and the person next to him kind of looks like they're comforting him, or maybe he's feeling the weight of the calling of, he's next in line, and he is not acting president. He is president.
When President Oaks made that announcement of him being the president, Elder Uchtdorf did reach over and pat President Holland on the arm.
Oh yeah, I think that's the clip. You saw that?
Yeah, I did. He didn't look disturbed. I mean, to me,
because people think it was like, he's not picking me. I deserve it.
Yeah,
like Hillary Clinton in 2016. It's my turn.
Yeah. I have a feeling that they're a little bit more. They don't have those feelings, and if they did, they'd probably hide it a little bit better.
Yeah, well, I know some people who think some of them really don't like each other, and I don't believe that. But maybe they don't. I don't know. We're dealing, as we said from the beginning, make this full circle. We're dealing with imperfect people. So
absolutely.
But whatever they're doing is working really well. The church is growing like crazy. And and reminder to people, in order for this to happen, it has to be a unanimous decision to reform the first presidency. And I kind of was wondering if they were going to just let it like not be reformed for a while, which would have been kind of cool. But I don't know. It's kind of weird to have 14 in the Quorum of the 12. But you can have it. It's fine. So.
And then they say that was the longest interregnum that we had between the prophet like, dying and the next prophet.
Since like President Taylor or something, like back in the old days when they. Or no, wait, President Snow. Ever since President Snow, they reorganized the first presidency quickly because he knew that the current prophet was sick and that he was next in line, so he's praying in the Salt Lake Temple. This is a story from his granddaughter, I believe. He was praying in the Salt Lake Temple, and that's when he said he got a visitation from Jesus, and he pointed to the spot out to his granddaughter when he was telling her the story. It's in Teachings of Lorenzo Snow. I believe it's Lorenzo Snow. And he didn't say anything about what Jesus said, but he basically said that it was a comforting thing, and that like he was supposed to just move forward with reorganizing the first presidency and not wait like they had done in the past. So, and I think ever since then it's been done pretty quick. And people can correct me if I'm wrong about if I'm missing any facts here, but yeah, it's a really cool story. And then when you go to the Salt Lake Temple, you can always point out that's where Jesus was. Super cool. Super cool. Yeah. That's according to his granddaughter. But this isn't the only thing in breaking news. So do you have any last thoughts about the first presidency before we move on to the last thing?
Nope.
Okay. This is an interesting one. So you're not from Utah.
I'm not.
Okay, man arrested for violent threats against Ute fans ahead of BYU Utah football game. So apparently this man tweeted out or X'd out, or whatever you want to call it, that he was going to be violent against Utah fans. And when someone was like, okay, hey, that's not cool, he was like, yeah, anyone who's wearing red, I'm going to shoot them, is what he said.
Oh, no, man.
Well, as soon as he said that part, because the first part was just kind of like, it could have just been like taken as like,
right.
like normal language. But as soon as he said shoot people wearing red, he got arrested, which I'm glad to see that they're monitoring this stuff, because that goes a little too far. But the question is does it violate free speech, Jeff Borders? Because he's just talking. Man. He didn't do anything. He's just talking.
I mean, in light of recent events, I would say it's probably not a violation to at least take him into custody and question him about it.
Are threats? I mean, you can. It's a legit threat on paper, right?
It seems like a legit threat to me.
He's probably, yeah. And he's probably just some idiot, but like, play stupid games, win stupid prizes, wherever you are.
I didn't go to BYU. I didn't go to Utah, so I don't understand the animosity between the two. I live in Washington, and I don't get it. But apparently there's.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, apparently there is a significant rivalry enough to make somebody angry enough to make threats. So
yeah, well, hopefully it's not that significant. My goodness. But before you joined the church, had you ever heard? I mean, you follow a little bit of sports, right? Had you ever heard of the BYU football, BYU Utah Holy War rivalry game?
No, never. No.
So you're up in Washington, right? So you heard of Washington Huskies, Washington State, that rivalry game?
It's the Cougars and the Huskies, so it's always the Apple Cup. So that's our big.
They don't even play each other anymore.
They're not in the same league anymore, or the same conference. So, but it was the Apple Cup. Yeah.
A few unique things about this rivalry is, like, in the state of Utah, it's not like, all the Utah fans live over up there, all the BYU fans live down there. No, the whole thing is intermingled. Your neighbors are on the other team.
You don't know who's who?
Oh, because there's flags and it's like you're friendly, and then that week it's like, like there's a lot of different rivalries. Alabama, Auburn, Michigan, Ohio State. But Michigan, Ohio State, those people don't have to live next to each other.
Right.
And then you bring in a religious component to this, and like some people characterize this as the Holy War because it's like the active members versus the like the apostate devil red team. Some people, like, I think are a little silly and maybe borderline sacrilegious, like make pictures of like Nephi with a BYU helmet on that's like rebuking his Lamanite brothers with like Utah gear on, which I was like, this is why the Utah fans don't like BYU fans, so like stop doing this, but I also kind of get the humor because it's just lean into the meme kind of a thing. But
what's funny is when BYU was in the West Coast Conference for basketball, and they would play Gonzaga, that would be the team that I support. They called it the Holy War a lot of times, the Catholics versus the
Mormons versus the Catholics.
Gonzaga got in some trouble when they would wear, missionary outfits to the kennel and mock the BYU players. But that's what I thought of as the Holy War. I guess I was missing out on a bigger war.
Well, I need to remind everyone, I heard this on sports radio, and it's like, that's a good point. When BYU's had some interesting things happen at Colorado a while ago in basketball, with Arizona, at Oregon, of people shouting, blank the Mormons.
Yep.
And as ugly as the Utah BYU rivalry gets, they're not going to cheer that because a lot of them are also Mormons,
Yeah.
And so, like, there's at least that level of respect for, like, the religion, because a lot of them are part of the religion. I remember as a kid going to a BYU Utah game, and I kind of wondered, I was like, are they going to, like, boo during the prayer? I literally, like, wondered, like, because they hate so much that, like, while we're praying in the Val Edwards Stadium, are they going to boo? No, they didn't boo, because, like, most of them are members, Like, Utah has a lot of members, and there's non-members that like BYU, and there's non-members that like Utah, so it's obviously not just like a church thing, but that plays into it a little bit. So who do you want to win?
I would have to pick BYU because I had a kid that went there, so that's.
You're okay. Nice. Okay.
My oldest went there before he left on his mission, so that's okay. That's what I have.
Well, do you know who's already won? Society, because this idiot of a person has been arrested for violent threats, and. Oh my gosh. Yeah, like there's just been so much violence, it feels lately. Violence in the community of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and it's just like heart-wrenching and sad, and like to see anything like this, even if he was just being some idiot making a joke, it's like, yeah, we're gonna take this seriously, as if you said this the same thing walking onto an airplane. You're like, no, you're being detained.
Read the room a little bit better next time.
Yeah, don't be an idiot. That's the takeaway. Don't be an idiot. Like, it makes me mad. The one thing that makes me more mad than probably anything is when people make negative stereotypes true. Yeah. One of the worst examples of this was some guy who's not even a member of the church, but decided that he was some white supremacist, that he was going to use the Book of Mormon as justification for some of his white supremacy stuff, which obviously he didn't read it from cover to cover and just cherry picked things here and there to try and make some points. But people don't know that when they're like, swiping through stuff, and it's like, there's nothing that makes me more mad than idiots like that person who are, making these, like, if anyone's kind of wondering, like, is the Book of Mormon racist? And then they see that, it's like,
look, that guy, yeah.
Oh my gosh, like, nothing makes me more mad. And like, this kind of thing, sorry, I keep clicking that. This kind of thing makes me really mad because, whether or not this guy's a member, maybe he is, maybe he's not. I mean, flip a coin, whatever it lands on, probably be a good guess because he's dealing with the BYU Utah football game. So he's probably, if you had to guess, you'd probably say he's a member. But like, the church just faced horrendous violence in Michigan. And you have this idiot who's just like kind of ruining, in my opinion, this great thing that happened where the church came out. Like, members of the church, to me, demonstrated amazing pacifism and amazing Christian values when it came to that shooting. Like, holy cow. You had forgiveness from some of the victims' family members and stuff. You had money being raised for the victims and for the shooter's family. You had the apostles coming over ministering. You had like these beautiful things in conference that were said, and such a amazing stuff coming out of the church from the reaction of a terrible thing. And then you have this idiot. Sorry if I just rant a little bit here, but my goodness.
No, go for it.
I've said idiot too many times. But I'm glad he's arrested so that no harm could be done, even if it was just fun. Again, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. I hope you have a big bail, and that you, if you were going to go to the game, I hope someone else goes in your place that's not going to be as much of an idiot. Yeah. So. Yeah,
Kiori said maybe don't leave the evidence of your crimes on social media either.
Yeah, I kind of wonder if this person was just thinking, oh, I'm just being funny, I got free speech. It's like, well, you made a legit threat, and like,
not so funny anymore.
In today's climate, when you make a threat, especially about like with gun violence.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. I like to see that being taken seriously because I don't like what's happening, in light of Michigan and everything. So,
yep.
Jeff Borders, did this guy fall victim to the Antichrist playbook? What do you think?
I do. I think he fell victim to the stirring up of anger. This seems like an anger tactic to me. So I talk about that in the book. And you don't issue violent threats without some sort of anger in your heart. And I think he fell victim to that.
So the Antichrist playbook is published by Plain and Precious Publishing is what it's called?
Yep.
And you can get it, there. You can buy it on Amazon too, right?
You can buy it on Amazon.
Is it finally on Audible?
It is not on Audible. We still have issues with that. But you can, if you buy the book.
This is my anime fist.
I know, right? You can scan the QR code and you get access to the bonus material and the audiobook.
Yeah, everyone check it out.
The easiest way.
And you're writing another one, I believe.
It was just submitted to the publisher this last month. So we'll see where that goes.
Can you tell us the title, or are you going to wait till it's accepted?
The working title is Shaking Hell's Foundations, Captain Moroni's Guide for Dedicated Discipleship. So
very nice. Well, Jeff, where can people find you if they want to hear more about you? If they can find your book? What else?
Yeah, they can find my book, Plain and Precious Publishing. You can find my website, which is just jeffbordersbooks.com. And on Instagram at Jeff Borders Books. That's probably where I hang out most of the time. I answer messages that get sent to me on there fairly quickly. So that's where you can find me.
Excellent. Kiori said he ate pizza with you at one time. So
he did. We at the book launch. So great guy.
Yeah, and you also write fantasy too. So if anyone's into that.
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Jeff. This is Ether's Elephant. Thank you everyone for being here. We'll catch you in the next one.